Hi everyone, it's Plesky P coming in from Melbourne, Australia. But let me tell you, I've got a fantastic author with a brand new book, Richard Noller, and he's got a book called Made in the UK, and it goes through all the UK Beatles singles. How are you today, Richard?
I'm fine, thank you, Plastic.
That's great. Now, I want you to tell me about this fantastic book that you got. Just tell me how long it took you to write it.
Okay, well, I started it as a lockdown project diversion, and we kind of finally signed it off about last October, November. And we were literally working right up to the wire.
That's amazing. And let me tell you about Australia. Every single we got was from the UK. We didn't get the American stuff. We just got direct what it was from Great Britain. So even when it came to the Magical Mystery Open EP, that was brought out from the UK here. They sold it to us and we bought it because we couldn't manufacture that one here. But all the other singles were manufactured here by EMI Parlophone in Australia.
Yes, you released quite a few more titles than we did, and chopped some of the B-sides around. I have a few of them. I don't have a complete set, but yeah, it's interesting.
But I don't know if you know the story of With the Beatles, the second album, but here they had 4 photos of their heads with a black cover, and it had pink writing with the Beatles. And when John Lennon came in 1964, he told the record company off here in Australia and said, that's a shocking cover. He really gave it to him. Did you know that story?
No, I've not heard that one.
No,
I think I have the LP
He
somewhere.
hated that cover so much with the photos because the faces weren't half in shade. And he just told the record company off and told them this is a crap cover in 64 when he was here. And they made that cover into an EP too, Australian EP as well. Now tell me, with your research, what's your favourite single?
Oh, that's a tough one. My favourite song is Here, There and Everywhere. Favourite single, do you know, when you listen to them, everyone got better than the last. Oh God, you put me on the spot now. I love Day Tripper. That's actually my ringtone. So let's go with Day Tripper.
That's good. Now you know they made a single Australian only of All My Lovin', because All My Lovin' to me is the #1 song, but they never put it out as a single. But here I think they put it out as an EP and put that song first. I mean, we seem to do things that no one does, you know, but to me, All My Lovin' is one of the greatest Paul songs ever written in my mind. I mean, I'm not knocking it, but I put it above Yesterday. That's just my personal choice. It's just when they played that song in concert in 64, if that didn't melt a girl's heart, something's wrong with you. All My Lovin' is the greatest song.
I think there were a great deal of songs that could easily have been singles. And, you know, my intent with the book partly was to kind of just showcase all the UK singles. And, you know, I've always thought that that's artistic intent. You know, what the UK released, what the UK country got was what the Beatles intended them to get. And, you know, I get it that a lot of other countries chopped around their LPs and made singles that we didn't have. But the singles and LPs that we released were what the Beatles wanted us to hear, the way they wanted us to hear them. So, you know, I've explored all that in the book.
Now I got a Beatles box set that has the singles in it, right? But I think the singles of mine are actually CDs, but they did put out a box set of their singles.
Yes, I mean, there've been many box sets. I mean, that's another book in the making, actually. But there have been a number of singles box sets, which are, again, they're explored in the book. We've got the 1976 series that we saw in green covers. They were kind of generic green covers. That first appeared for retail, and then the company World Records, which I believe you probably have in Australia, they then did a mail order, which again we put in the book. They released that in 77 and then released another set in 78 to include the Sgt. Pepper single. Then again in 1982, there's another blue box set. Some countries got that as a UK export, which included the Love Me Do picture disc. And then, of course, we had them on CD singles when that became popular, and cassette singles. Again, they're all in the book so that everyone can see, you know, exactly what was released and when it was released, and every possible variation of every box set and every single you can see in the box, in the book.
That's amazing. I just want to say, I like those green singles from Japan, Toshiba, but not only that, I like those coloured singles, the jukebox one that came out from Capitol. I was fortunate I bought a lot of those at the time. I don't know why. They got strange colours. They came out with the sticker for your jukebox with the 2 songs on each side, and that coloured discs. I actually got all those and gave it to my friend Chachi LaPrette in Boston. He's got a show called Breakfast with the Beatles. I just sent it off to him. But they're so hard to get now, that vinyl coloured Capitol singles.
Yes, so I do have a lot of worldwide singles, but my biggest passion, which I hope to show in the book, was my UK collection. There's, I think, one of the big things I wanted to do with the book was to focus on everything that was done after 1970. You know, everybody lauds the stuff, the original releases from the 1960s, and rightly so. But the stuff from 1970 onwards, for most people, has just been a footnote. And in the book, my footnote is about 350 pages. And I really wanted to show that there's a lot of interesting releases that happened after the Beatles split up. And yes, okay, with the exception perhaps of the movie medley, they were all basically re-releases of all the old singles. But, you know, some of them are impossibly rare. They're incredibly hard to find. And, you know, in the 60s, the records sold by the truckload. By comparison, the stuff in the 70s, you could probably fit in the back of a van, you know, maybe even smaller. And I have examples of singles that I've literally only seen the one copy that I own. And so, you know, for a lot of collectors, there's the second half of the book is going to be really important, because there's just so many singles in there that the vast majority of casual fans will not have seen. And even if you look at the 20 years ago campaign, some of those singles, there are like 7 or 8 different versions of those singles from the 1980s. And, you know, as I say, the vast majority of collectors out there will not have seen them, would not be aware that they even exist. And this was a big thing, to try and show that actually there's a hell of a lot gone on after they split up in 1970, right up to the present day. There's just a vast array of really interesting releases.
Not to worry. Richard, can I ask you, have you got your book there handy, close by?
I do.
That's good. Take your time. I want you to show everybody the book. Look at that. Hold it up in front of you a little bit higher. It looks magnificent. Just put it forward a bit. No glare. That's perfect. Made in the UK. There it goes through every single single that's been released. That is a fantastic book. Just show us the spine. Yeah, the other way around. That's just turned over. I love the thickness. Show everyone the thickness.
Yeah, it is a thick book. It weighs nearly 3 kilograms.
And how many pages in total?
About 560.
That's great. Can you show us a couple of pictures from the book?
660.
Just show us a few pages from the book there. Find a few pages you like.
There you go. Just some random. I'll just click a few more. So you can see that we fleshed it out with memorabilia as well. There's loads of things in here, but
take your time. Just hold it a little bit higher.
Yeah.
That is a magnificent quality book. I can see it. And I love the way how it just comes right out of the pages. Give us another look at some of the memorabilia there if you got it.
Let me find. I'll show you one of my favourite pieces.
Good, show me.
If I can find it. Please bear with me.
No, take your time. This is good. I'm loving the book. See, I'm sure you're going to find it. It's great.
I will find it.
Now, listen, while we're waiting for you to find the page, can you tell everybody the links where they can buy the book?
Yes, you can go to www.atcore.net or search Atcore Books and put the title in Made in the UK. That will find it. There's also some YouTube links. If you search Made in the UK YouTube, you can find some more sample pages on there. I'm sure I sent that link to you, so I'm sure you can tie that in. Hopefully that should cover it. If somebody really wants a signed copy and they want to send it all the way to Australia and New Zealand, if they contact me directly, or particularly ask the publisher, I'm sure I can sort out a signed copy.
And not only that, I want to say, I will be putting headings on the interview, on the heading of the interview, so people can go to different links to buy the book. Did you find the page there, Richard?
I tell you what, I'll find the piece of memorabilia.
Okay, even better. Let's go for that. I love your den there with all the Beatles around. It's fantastic.
Let's go with that.
That's what I love about going to live show, because you know what? Everybody watching gets the real deal. Let's have a look.
Right. I don't know what it, yeah. Now this.
That's coming through amazing. What is that?
That is what we call a shop standee. You'd find it on a shop counter, and it's to promote the 20th anniversary of the All You Need Is Love single. And as you can see, I put it in a frame because it's a cutout.
It looks fantastic. Just move it a bit more in, because it doesn't matter if it covers your face. Let's have a closer look. Yeah,
okay.
That's it. Exactly where it is. Just a little bit higher there, Richard. Just lift it up a fraction. Lift it up a bit more, stop. And just point it towards the computer so the glare goes. Put on an angle. That's it, right there. Fantastic for showing us that. That's coming crystal clear. Thank you, Richard.
Let's just tuck that away.
It's amazing.
Yeah, that's very fragile.
And as I said, Neil, when you look back at the book and you look at all the hard work you've done, I mean, how great is it that you finally got it out?
Do you know, when I started in my lockdown project, it was a diversion. I started looking online and thinking, oh, can I privately publish it? I was thinking, oh, maybe I'll get a dozen copies printed and just give them to my mates. And then it just became so big. I started really with the singles, the EPs and the LPs, and it just mushroomed, and I had to split it down to the singles. And then Ed at Atcore Books, I sent him the introduction, and he come back to me and he said, I want this book on my shelf. And I was like, oh, wow, you know. And so it was a big dream to actually then get it published. And then I was putting in 9 to 5 and longer every day, just trying to do the research, get all the scans done, do the writing. And then I was discussing things with various people to just clarify things. And it was just going on and on and on. And I thought, this is going to be amazing. You know, you see the transformation from just a boring Word document into what looks like a book, but then to actually have that book in your hands, oh, it was just a fantastic feeling. And I can't thank Atcore enough for actually making that dream come true. And you know, for people who buy the book, I can promise that there's actually going to be a follow-up. I've already written a book on the EPs. And hopefully we'll be working on that together to actually make that look more like a book very soon. But going back to this book, I think, there's going to be a lot of surprises for people in there, because, people think in the UK of like just the 22 releases that they put together, during the 60s. But I've pulled out things like flexi discs, and not just like the Christmas flexes, but flexi discs for like your cut, the one you see, the world records. You've got the box set. I've got something here. You'll have seen this box set.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Beatles from Liverpool. Yes.
Yes.
Well, this is a poster that was sent through the post, and has a flexi disc with it.
I've never seen
most
it.
people, you've never seen that. Right. Well, most people put this in the bin after they'd listened to it. To actually, have the set like this with the poster, that's incredibly rare. And so collectors will be looking at the book and seeing stuff that they didn't even know existed. We tried to find every flexi disc from the 70s or 80s or 90s that had even a snippet of, say, Yesterday on it. And if we found one, it's in the book, so that collectors can go to their boot fairs or antique shops or wherever they go and rummage around, and hopefully have the thrill of finding some very rare disc that they perhaps didn't even know existed.
Richard, I want to congratulate you on the book. Do me a favor, just grab the cover of the book again and show everybody. I want people to go out and buy it, because it's a fantastic book. That's a labour of love, made in the UK. What a fantastic book. Go out there, do not wait, and buy it, because if you want to know about the singles plus more, you just got to go out there and buy it. I can see how much work you put into it. Lift it a little bit higher. And the labour of love that it's been to you, Richard. And I take my hat off to you and I congratulate you. Thank you so
very much
for being on the show, Richard.
Can I just add?
Yes.
We had a publication of 500. They sold out in 9 days. The publisher has asked for another 500. As I say, go to appcore.net, Appcore Books, and order your copy. I know that they're already selling well. I have no idea at the moment how many are left, but again, at this point, there was only another 500 made. So, if you really want this, don't hang around and wait for the next payday. Just pre-order it, because it may well sell out. I don't know if there'll be a third print run, but with a bit of luck, if there's enough publicity, if enough people are interested, there might well be. But please, if you are interested, I don't want you being disappointed. Just go out and order it.
Go out and buy it, because at the moment, 500 sold. There's another 500 now for sale. We don't know if there's a third printing, as you said, and you don't want to miss out. All the links, as I said, at the top of this interview. Thank you so much, Richard, and I thank you for writing such a fantastic book.
Thank you, Plastic.